The Mercedes-Benz S-Class follows a long and rich tradition that goes back to the beginnings of the Mercedes-Benz brand at the start of 20th century. Luxury, comfort, and safety, the three words synonymous with an experience of being in an S-Class. Although the S-Class designation was officially introduced in 1972, in this video I tried to collect for you all the cars in which the S-Class DNA was traced, each of which was the flagship of its generation and giving convincing answers to the wishes and requirements of the respective time. It's that big red fun bus, ladies and gentlemen, is the Mercedes Simplex 60 PS, and it launched in 1903. It was a touring sedan, apparently, and was owned by Emil Jelinek. Jelinek, don't forget, was a key player in the Mercedes history. It's his daughter who gave her name to the brand. The car had a low-pressed steel chassis and 4-cylinder engine with a displacement of 9.3 liters, producing 60 horsepower and enabling a maximum speed of 56 miles per hour. The fact that the car was designed to be driven by a chauffeur is also reflected in the interior appointments. The passengers were seated in the rear of the finest brocade fabric, while the driver's bench seat was covered in hard-wearing leather. Karl Benz and Gottlieb Daimler merged their two companies in 1926, forming Daimler-Benz AG. And already in 1928, the first production car from Mercedes-Benz with an 8-cylinder engine in Nürburg W08 made its debut. Developed by Ferdinand Porsche, who joined Daimler from the Austrian branch of the company in 1923, the car was equipped with an 8-cylinder engine with a displacement of 4.6 liters. The straight 8-side valve unit had a maximum output of 80 horsepower, translating into a top speed of 62 miles per hour. Its model designation Nürburg was derived from the Nürburgring circuit, which had been opened just a year earlier. The background to it being given, this name comes from a spectacular endurance test in which a 460 model covered some 20,000 kilometers over 13 days of driving at the Nürburgring. In 1930, the Mercedes-Benz presented the 770 Grand Mercedes, model of ultimate in automotive engineering. The luxurious representative car for the most discerning of demands was fitted with an 8-cylinder 7.7-liter supercharged engine which produced 150 horsepower without supercharging. An optional Roots-type supercharger which was engaged at the full throttle would raise the output to 200 horsepower, which could propel the car to 100 miles per hour. The Grand Mercedes proved just as popular with crowned and uncrowned heads of the state as it did with representatives of industry and high finance. Still, it was 1930s opulence and extravagance at its best. A while back, one sold for $10 million. It was Hitler's. 1930 witnessed the debut of modern luxury touring car in the form of Mercedes-Benz 320. Its swingle-axle chassis and independent wheel suspension provided for safe driving and comfortable ride. Power came from a newly enlarged straight-six 3.2-liter side valve engine with a listed maximum output of 78 horsepower, supporting a claimed top speed of 81 miles per hour. From 1939, an additional remote action gear reduced engine speed and fuel consumption while enhancing travel comfort and efficiency. At the same time, a so-called exterior case was also added to the standard scope of equipment for the most spacious variants of this luxury model, the 7-seater Pullman saloon. This boot was permanently attached to the body's rear panel, affording protection from wet and dirt for the luggage, which was previously accommodated on an open luggage rack. Upon the Mercedes 300's launch, it was the fastest German production car, boasting a heady top speed of 160 km per hour, a shade under 100 miles per hour. Underneath sat a 3-liter straight-six engine with a Swiss press, at that time declaring it a milestone in the history of automotive engineering. Some of this engineering included a safety tank lock to prevent the doors from bursting open, an electrically operated torsion bar, suspension to compensate the height of the rear wheels under the heavy loads, and even heating with a blower as standard. At the time of its appearance at the first IAA International Motor Show in Frankfurt in April 1956, 6 years after the end of Second World War, the 300 stood like no other model for Germany's return to the international automotive market. Introduced in the spring of 1954, the Type 220, also known internally as the 220A, was the first Mercedes-Benz 6-cylinder model with an unitized body design design. Its ultra-modern spacious ponton body, which Mercedes-Benz had presented just 6 months earlier in the mid-range 180 model, offered previously unheard of levels of comfort. Safe handling was guaranteed by the single-joint swingle axle, which was introduced in the series production in the 220 model. With the launch of its overhauled and more powerful Type 220S in 1956, the S designation became a permanent fixture in the names of high-end Mercedes-Benz models, underlining the special status of the ponton 6-cylinder. For the first time in the production car, features such as soft steering wheel, wedge pin door locks, disc brakes, and dual-circuit braking system were utilized. The 220, 220S, and 220SE fintail models launched in 1959 earned their nickname from the subtle fintails at the rear wings. Yet these style elements also had a purpose. They served as a parking aid when reversing and as a result were officially called sightlines. Another innovative feature proved more important than the fintails, however. The new luxury class generation from Mercedes-Benz was the world's first passenger car to be fitted with a safety body. In the event of an accident, crumple zones at the front and rear absorbed the impact energy, thereby protecting the occupants. In 1961, the 300 SE fitted with standard air suspension and newly developed Mercedes-Benz automatic transmission was launched. In 1963, the 600 model presented at the IAA International Motor Show in Frankfurt became the new flagship model of the Mercedes-Benz brand and at the same stroke a vehicle of superlatives. Its 6.3 liters V8 engine delivered an extremely respectable performance and a top speed in excess of 125 miles per hour. Optimum comfort was ensured by air suspension, an automatic transmission, electronic power steering, and a unique hydraulic system. The 5 to 6-seater versions was predominantly ordered by highly discerning private customers. In addition, Mercedes-Benz also offered a 70 to 8-seater version with a wheelbase 70 cm longer, which was primarily used as an official state of ceremonial limousine. These W108 and W109 saloons replaced the old 1965 fintail bands and featured such innovation as a hydropneumatic compensating spring on the rear axle, air suspension, and safety steering system. Oh, and this W108 came in the 300 Sal flavor, which was of course the all-singing, all-conquering 6.3-liter V8, a variant of which finished second at the Spa 24 Hours in 1971. They called it the Red Pig. In fact, German press at that time, driving at the badge 300 Sal, noted the confusion to many a Porsche 911 and 911S driver normally accustomed to being kings of the Autobahn, who now found themselves being left looking flat-footed by the harmless-looking Mercedes. After years of flirting with the letter S in its top-end models, Mercedes finally went gun blazing and labeled its top dog the S-Class. And befitting its stature as the king of Benzes meant this new S came with a collision-proof fuel tank, a safety steering wheel, dirt-deflecting side windows, and rear lamps, and from 1978, the first series production car to get ABS anti-lock braking system, designed to help retain steering control even under full brake application. At the time a world sensation, ABS is now standard across the automotive industry. Not only that, the S-Class also came with a cruise control, self-leveling suspension, and was the first production car with a turbo diesel engine, 300 SD, in 1979. In 1979, the 126 series S-Class impressed with its aerodynamically enhanced shape and systematic weight reduction through the use of elements such as the new light alloy V8 engines. The Model Series 126 also set the trend in terms of its design. It was the first Mercedes-Benz passenger car to do away with the traditional chrome bumpers in favor of deformable plastic ones built to withstand a parking dent. The airbag, now a key component of automotive safety, made its debut in 1981. The driver's airbag was initially combined with a pyrotechnic belt tensioner for the front passenger. From 1988, Mercedes-Benz also offered its customers a front passenger airbag. Next generation was a good S-Class because this S-Class was the first production car at Mercedes to feature a V12. It was in fact the company's most powerful passenger car with 600 SE and 600 SEL. But of course there was much electronic wizardry and witchcraft at play underneath, including electronic stability program as standard from 1995. The innovative system reduces the risk of skidding through targeted brake application on individual wheels. The end of 1996 saw the introduction of brake assist, which automatically builds up the maximum brake boosting effect during emergency braking. The car also boasted park sensors, autopilot navigation system, adaptive damping, closing assist for doors and boot, double glazing on the side windows, and voice control. Early Mercedes pioneers might have been spinning in their graves with this new generation S-Class shunning bomb-proof, weapon-grade metal and lead and other heavy stuff, instead opting for lightweight materials such as light alloy and plastic. Yeah, plastic in an S-Class. Still, other good stuff happened in the shape of first S-badged AMG model, the S55 AMG, while Mercedes' focus on the safety resulted in the pre-safe prevent your occupant safety system. It initiated measures in case of imminent collision. At the same time as the introduction of new safety system, the S-Class could now also be equipped with intelligent 4MATIC permanent all-wheel drive, which also helps to ensure optimum traction in adverse road conditions at all times. The pioneering technical innovations of the S-Class model generation 221 introduced in 2005 included Active Night View Assist, Advanced Distronic Plus Proximity Control, and Brake Assist Plus, which was upgraded to the pre-safe brake autonomous partial braking in 2006. Further, assisting systems such as blind spot assist, lane keeping assist, and speed limit assist helped to further reduce the strain on the driver and brought the S-Class one step closer to the vision of safe, accident-free driving. The Mercedes-Benz S400 Hybrid, launched in 2009, was the first luxury model with an efficiency-enhancing and environmentally friendly hybrid drive, and also the first series production car with a lithium-ion battery. The luxury saloon has combined first-class driving and responsibility to the highest standards since the summer of 2013. The first-class font transforms the S-Class into a comfortable office, while the energizing massage function provides an ideal opportunity to indulge in a spot of pure comfort. Numerous innovative and optimized driving assistance systems, which have been summarized under the name Mercedes-Benz Intelligent Drive, combine comfort with safety to open up a new dimension of motoring. The W223 was unveiled on September 2, 2020. This generation will not feature a couple of convertible models, as they will instead be replaced by the next generation AMG GT and SL class model respectively. Visually, the W223 is toned up, pointier, and less swoopy than its predecessor. Interior digitization as you would expect, few buttons, large screens. Its semi-autonomous driving function is sharper in width than before, unfazed by varying road markings. Being a role model means leading the way. Since the earliest days of automobile, the top-of-the-line models from the Mercedes-Benz have been the most famous ambassadors of Germany's automotive engineering. With groundbreaking innovations, they have set the standards for passenger car development in general. This tradition is still alive today and will continue in the future.